Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to the Universal Temple for the Sun, Planet, Moon, and Stars. I'll be your Lord of Hosts, Lord Messiah. And today we're going into what is a foreign LLC. So, we're gonna jump in straight into that. We're not straight into it. Let me check these other platforms and make sure I'm live on the Meet Me. All right. On the in Facebook, we go live on Facebook. Fakebook. And in the Meet Me. So where we at? All right, peace, peace, peace. We live here on the Facebook. All right. Peace, peace, peace. We live here on the Facebook as well. You know what I'm saying? Peace. Welcome back to the Universal Temple for the Sun, Planet, Moon, and Stars. I'll be your Lord of Hosts, Lord Messiah. All right, and we're moving over to the Google Meet real fast. All right, get that popping. We're working to bring the features. All right. Well, anyway, if that starts up, it starts up. But let me get to the show. Let me get to the meat of the matter. All right. So today we're going into what is a foreign LLC. All right, and I got these notes here from the Google. So we're gonna read this off here, and then we're gonna go back and break it down. All right.
What does foreign LLC mean? It is a classification used for companies that do business in states other than the home state where the LLC was formed. States require companies to register as foreign LLCs to ensure they meet regulatory and tax requirements, and the term foreign simply means the company was set up in a different state. What is a foreign limited liability company? NALO.
All right, now it says, what does foreign LLC mean? And before we go into the actual form or the application, I'm going to show y'all how to break that down. We're going to go into just, break down the meanings and so forth for what it means before we, go into it. So it says it is a classification used for companies that do business in states other than the home state where the LLC was formed. States require companies to register as foreign LLCs to ensure that they meet regulatory and tax requirements. The term foreign simply means that the company was set up in a different state. Now, that state doesn't necessarily mean like a state like, oh, you're in New York, but you set up the LLC in Florida. No, state means another capacity or another jurisdiction. You know what I mean? So, and we're going to go into that when we go into the actual form. They're going to show you how that's possible in the actual form for the application for the foreign LLC. So, so let's continue.
Search for how to register a foreign LLC in California. Okay. Obtain a certificate of good standing. You will need a certificate of good standing from your home state in order to register a foreign LLC in California. Determine your LLC name for use in California. Submit application to register foreign LLC. File statement of information. Foreign LLC in California. HTTP. Search for can LLCs operate internationally?
Good question.
Yes. California registered LLC may operate internationally. No California laws restrict international operation. July.
Right. And the reason why that is because states can't necessarily interfere with international operations or foreign operations, even as it says in the Constitution, saying no state shall impair the right, the obligation to contract, and no state shall interfere in foreign contracts, saying, of foreign dealings, you know what I mean? They have no say so in that. So they have to go through, they have to bear witness to what's manifest in the what's called the supremacy clause. The supremacy clause is dealing with the fact of how states have to acknowledge international law. Like once something is made international law or acknowledged internationally, the states have to then make like statutes or come into some kind of agreement with those those laws, or make some kind of statute or remedy or code or application or something that they could do to manifest that. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be a remedy, basically. So that's another thing we got to start looking into too. Yeah, we know it's all messed up and stuff like that, but there's also remedies. So you got to research, you got to search and find these remedies. You know what I'm saying? Different ways to do things. So, can an LLC foreign internationally operate internationally? Yes, it can. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, no state has the right to impair foreign operations, you know what I'm saying, or deal in, foreign operations. So it definitely can.
Can a U.S. LLC have a foreign subsidiary? Yes, a U.S. LLC can be owned entirely by foreign persons. United States tax laws.
Right. So say, for example, if you're a non-citizen foreign national, you're a foreign person. You're foreign to the United States. And being that just because you're foreign doesn't mean that you can't operate in commerce in the United States. You can do so, but under your own foreign jurisdiction. So that way, you're not held liable to the state statutes or, ordinances and things of that nature. So because you're operating foreign. And once again, the United States cannot see, like, look, this says right here, right? It says, continue. Listen.
Require that foreigners pay taxes on any earnings made in the United States. Regardless of immigration status, the United States will allow foreigners to form a company as long as they have registered for a taxpayer identification number.
Right. Now, you could get an ITIN. Most people, say a lot of times we get an EIN, but the EIN, you need the social security number to get the EIN. Sometimes they said you could get one without it, but that's more so the ITIN, the individual tax identification number. You can get that without a social because you could say it's for a business entity, and the business entity is not personal. So therefore, it doesn't have a personal social security number attached to its person. It's a foreign entity and it operates with a foreign identification number known as a and you also have what's called a foreign individual tax identification number, a foreign FTIN, foreign tax identification number. So instead of just using the regular TIN or the EIN, get a foreign TIN. That way you're able to operate in a foreign capacity and still do business. You know what I mean? And you don't have to be liable for the taxes with the social and all of that. You know what I mean? So it says right here, it says the United States will allow foreigners to form a company as long as they have registered for a tax identification number. So in other words, you have to register for that number, saying, if you're a so-called foreigner. And foreigners is not just people that come from different countries. You can, like I said, you create your foreign status and you become a foreigner. You know what I mean? How do you create a foreign status? By one of the ways is by creating a foreign LLC. All right, this is which brings me to the next question, which is a very good explanation of what I was just saying. What is the difference?
What is the difference between domestic LLC and foreign LLC? A domestic LLC or corporation is a business that is formed within its home, domestic, state. Foreign qualification is when a legal entity conducts business in a state or jurisdiction other than the one in which it was originally formed. It is not to be confused with being a business in a foreign country. February 10, 2021. Domestic versus foreign qualified LLCs. What's the difference? Walters Kluwer. What is the difference between domestic LLC and a domestic LLC or corporation is a business that is formed within its home, domestic, state. Foreign qualification is when a legal entity conducts business in a state or jurisdiction other than the one in which it was originally formed.
Pause. See what I'm saying? A state or jurisdiction other than the one it was originally formed. So when they get into the article, in the application, it's going to tell you that you don't have to use these forms. You can use your own forms, but basically just keep the same basic information that they asking for in those forms, but also put some more information in and let them know what your foreign status is, what the jurisdiction of the LLC will be, and so forth and so forth. You know what I mean? So that's how you declare the LLC to be foreign. You know what I mean? And by you not necessarily having to register it with the state, that keeps it in its foreign capacity. And you can also publish it, publish the knowledge of the LLC, make it what they call general circulation. Put it in general circulation.
Formed. It is not to be confused with being a business in a foreign country.
Right. See, it is not to be confused with being a business in a foreign country. It's simply a business that has its own foreign jurisdiction. You know what I'm saying? So when they was talking about how to form a LLC in California or whatever, or like in a certain city, so and that's the difference between a domestic LLC and a foreign LLC. The domestic LLC is just a regular LLC in which they want you to register with the state. You know what I mean? But the foreign LLC will be when you declare its own jurisdiction. You know what I'm saying? When you declare the jurisdiction for the state, for the LLC, and that puts it in its own foreign capacity. You know what I mean? See, does an online business, see what I'm talking about? And I didn't even read these. I just kind of got them ready to read on, and it's all lining up because I'm understanding the process.
Does an online business need to register as a foreign LLC? If you form a corporation or limited liability company, LLC, in your state, it's considered a domestic corporation.
Right. Domestic because it's within your state and you registered it with the state via the DOL, Department of Licensing. You register it with them. They give you your filing number and so forth. Now it's registered with them and they give you a license to operate that business. You know what I'm saying?
Corporation. To do business in any state other than the one in which your company was formed, you must register as a foreign entity.
Right. See, register as a foreign entity. So even if you do register your documents, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you could contract independently by just publishing it and making knowledge known of it, making knowledge born, and then just, continue to, operate in your own cipher. But when you register it with the state, a regular LLC, it becomes a domestic corporation. But if you want it to be a foreign entity, or if you want it to be in its foreign capacity, you have to register it as a foreign entity. So you're letting them know, even though I'm registering this with you, I'm letting y'all know what it is, but it's still in its own foreign capacity. So that way, when you file for taxes, you can file like a 1099 as an independent contractor, more so than a W-9, I-9, or a W-4 as an employee. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So now, how do I register my business as a foreign entity?
How do I register my business as a foreign entity? How to register as a foreign entity in every state. Conduct a name availability search. Select a registered agent to represent your business in the state. Many states will require that you provide a certificate of good standing from your business formation state. Provide a copy of your formation documents.
Right. So in other words, conduct a name availability search, meaning type in the name of your foreign LLC and see, does anybody else have this name that I'm using for my LLC? And if not, then it's clear and it's good. You can use it because it's original. Nobody else has that name. Then you select a registered agent to represent your business in the state. So now the representative agent could be some kind of law firm or whatever case may be, or it could be your trust. And you being the trustee for the trust, you represent the registered you are the selected registered agent to represent your business in the state. So in other words, like you can sign for it. You'll have your ID and everything, so you can sign on behalf of the trust, like cash checks or whatever, behalf of the LLC, which is registered to, which is scheduled under the trust or assigned to the trust. So now you have your foreign LLC registered to your foreign trust. Now it's in two foreign capacities outside of the so-called domestic state. So you see what I'm saying? So then many states will require that you provide a certificate of good standing from your business from your business formation state. So in other words, like they want to see your article, what they call the articles of not articles of incorporation. But yeah, that too. But also what's called your articles of organization. That's like the articles that you fill out for your regular LLC and you file or register with the state. They want to see that, and they also want to see your says provide a copy of your formation documents, what you call your articles of organization. Yeah, babe. I'm moving home. All right. I'm live right now, Zena. You gonna come with me? Live. Oh. Provide a copy of your formation documents. So basically, what you're doing is that you're basically giving them, like I said, your articles of organization for your LLC. And you're also sometimes, like if you try to get a business account or like a business bank account or whatever, they need your articles of organization, the EIN number, and your business plan, not your business plan, your operation agreement. That's what it's called, operating agreement. Like in other words, it says how your
what is foreign entity
how your entity is operating, how your business is operating. So that's what you need to show them. You know what I mean? Then you can open up accounts and things of that nature. You know what I mean? Because they have all the information that they'll need. You know what I mean?
What is the difference between domestic and foreign business? Domestic business refers to the business where economic transactions are conducted within the geographical boundaries of the one country. International business refers to the business where economic transactions are conducted across border with several countries in the world. Deck 17.
Right. So now, if you're dealing in international business, you become what's called a transnational. You know what I mean? Like there are many companies, corporations that deal in business internationally. Like just think of a famous company that has, departments or stores all over, in different countries. Like a famous, restaurant or whatever the case may be, or something like that. They're what you call transnationals because now they're doing business internationally, and now they also have international protections for their business and things of that nature. You know what I mean? It just takes things to a whole new level. You know what I mean? Beyond domestic, which is just within the state or the states, it cross borders and becomes international trade. You know what I mean? Foreign trade.
Who is considered a foreign entity? A foreign entity, also called out-of-state entity, is an entity formed in a state other than the state, or another jurisdiction, such as foreign country, in which your company was originally formed.
Pause. Okay, they just gave me a technical term to use. It's called out-of-state entity. So now your foreign LLC or foreign entity will be known as an out-of-state entity. So you let them know that it's not domestic, it's not being formed within the state. It's an entity formed in a state other than the state, or another jurisdiction, such as a foreign country, in which the company was originally formed. See what I'm saying? So, yes, your foreign LLC will become what's called an out-of-state entity. Matter of fact, let me copy and paste that right now. Just put that in my notes, which I'm going to add on to later. There you go. Okay. All right, we're back on task. So now it says, who is considered a foreign entity? Right. It says a foreign entity, also called an out-of-state entity, is an entity formed in a state other than the state or other jurisdiction, such as foreign country, in which your company was originally formed. So, so how you do that there.
What is the difference between a domestic and foreign corporation? A domestic corporation conducts its affairs in its home country or state. Businesses that are located in a country different from the one where they originated are referred to as foreign corporations. Corporations also may be deemed foreign outside of the state where they were incorporated. Domestic corporation definition, Investopedia.
All right. So, the difference between domestic and foreign corporation. So, like I said, your foreign LLC will be a foreign corporation, a foreign foreign limited liability corporation, foreign LLC. You know what I mean? All right. So, you know what? Went in 22 minutes on that. All right. You know what? I'm going to end this session. I'm going to come back. No, I'm going to keep this going because then I got to go back and do all them other sites and all that. So this is going to go. Well, anyway, that was part 1, y'all. Cut this video in half. Now we in the part 2. Peace. Welcome back to the Universal Temple for the Sun, Planet, Moon, and Stars. I'll be your Lord of Hosts, Lord Messiah. And we're going back into what is a foreign LLC. What is a foreign LLC? Foreign LLC. All right. Okay, now this is where I want to go. I need to stop sharing this here. I'm coming back. Screen. All right, here we go. All right. All right, so here we go. Now, this right here. This is this is the Department of Corporations. As you see right here, the Department of Corporations, State of Records and Uniform Commercial Code. All right, application for authority of, and then now here is where you put, it says insert name of foreign limited liability company, right? So let's just say if the name of my, and I already got this copywritten, y'all, so just to let y'all know, so, that's why I don't mind doing this with them. But anyway, let's just say if the name of my thing was, and I got the name of my company on Yelp and other search engines, so my stuff is in there. It's in the computer and all of that. You can look my shit up. So living COVID free, LLC for our foreign LLC. So that's a name, right? Now it says under section. Now see, this is important right here, right? Under section 802 of the Limited Liability Company Law. See, so now once I continue whatever, this is all under section 802 of the Limited Liability Company Law. See what I'm saying? So now this document would be subject to this statute right here, section 802 Limited Liability Company Law. That's what this article or this application will be subject to. Will be under that law. So now later on, it's about to tell you how you can, get around that. So it says the name of the foreign limited liability company is same as above. L.L.C. The fictitious name under which the foreign limited liability company will do business in New York is the fictitious name under which the foreign limited liability company will do business in New York is the name. Well, damn, why do you keep asking the same damn thing? Like, it's all the same thing. Like, duh, I just told you. It's the name that's application for authority of. Yeah, the name of the company. Then they ask you the name of the foreign limited liability company is, and then they say the fictitious name in which they ask you the same damn thing 3 times. All right, so anyway, whatever. Now it says complete only in the foreign limited liability company's true name is not acceptable for authorization pursuant to 204 of the Limited Liability Company Law. Complete only if the limited liability is non-acceptable for authorization. Hold up. The fictitious name. Okay, so in other words, it says complete only. Put that name there only if the foreign limited liability company's true name is not acceptable for authorization pursuant to 204 of the limited liability. Okay, so I'm assuming, I'm not even going to go into that right now, but I'm assuming that, okay, it just has to be like up to standards. It can't be like a curse word or some kind of thing that's like, derogatory or, like crazy sounding or something. It has to be like a name and it has to be a name that's original, that's not, used by anyone else. You know what I mean? So if it's not that, so that doesn't apply. So I don't have to put that there. Okay. So good thing I read that. So now I understand that. They didn't ask me the same thing 3 times. I had to specify if I had to put it there or not. So now going on, it says the fictitious name must contain the words limited liability company or the abbreviation LLC, right? So that's why I put living COVID free foreign LLC, you know what I mean? And I put foreign to state the fact that it's foreign, which is coming to the next one. Second, the jurisdiction of the jurisdiction of organization of the foreign limited liability company is, and now you put the jurisdiction in. Now, when I state the jurisdiction, I'm not going to state the jurisdiction. Oh, this is this LLC was formulated and registered within the state of New York. No, I'm going to say that this is a foreign. The jurisdiction of the organization of the limited liability company is. Oh, yeah, I'm bugging. See, I was about to just freestyle some old fanatic shit that wasn't even necessary. No. The jurisdiction for living COVID free foreign LLC is the is the same as the juristic capacity as Lord Messiah Allah El Irrevocable Living Trust. Right, so now actually see this form like only gives you a certain amount of space. So I might have to like I said, I'm not technically going to use these forms anyway. So on the form that I might have to just shorten that up. I might just have to say, instead of saying the jurisdiction is, because they already asking in the question what the jurisdiction is, I could just simply put the same as the juristic capacity of Lord Messiah Allah El Irrevocable Living Trust. I'm going to abbreviate that, Irrevocable Living Trust. Is that how you abbreviate it? Let me look at my EIA real fast. That's how you abbreviate that. Okay, Irrevocable Living Trust. Okay, so I got to actually write out living. All right, Irrevocable Living Trust. So the same as the juristic capacity of Lord Messiah Irrevocable Living Trust. So that means that the provisions of the trust will be the said jurisdiction of the LLC. So, and within those provisions, it states that, me as a trustee, I have the ability to basically function and do things on behalf of the trust, such as operate in business, form businesses to build up funds for the trust. So therefore, I'm forming this LLC to build up funds for the trust, which will fund the trust fund and, keep things going. And as a trustee, I have the ability to do that. So therefore, the LLC or the Foreign Llc is under the jurisdiction of my foreign or my, foreign trust, which is a Lord Messiah El Irrevocable Living Trust. So, that's the jurisdiction of it. The date of its organization is, so let's just say, today we starting off 1/1/2022. All right, boom, today, right? We started off. We just created this today, so that the date of our organization is boom today. We started off today. You know what I'm saying? All right. The third country, the country third. The country within New York State is in which the office of Foreign Limited Liability Company is to be located, or if the Foreign Limited Liability Company shall maintain more than one office in this state, the country within New York State in which the principal office of the Foreign Llc Limited Liability Company is to be located is. All right, pardon. Let me read that back because I was just kind of reading it without even really. All right, it says the county which New York State in which the principal office of the Foreign Limited Liability Company is to be located is the county. Okay, the county. So they want the county. So let's just say I'm from Queens. That'll be Queens County. And like I said, this is I'm gonna redo these documents, so there will be. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's just straight within New York or straight within Queens County, because that's giving jurisdiction to that county over you. You know what I mean? So it says that the county in which so Right. So now it says complete with the name of the New York State County. Please note that the limited liability company is not required to have an actual physical office in New York State. See what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to have necessarily a physical office, but more so they want to know what's the county in which you registered the documents. You know what I'm saying? That's more so what they want to know. And wherever you registered it with, that will be the county or the state that has jurisdiction. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about jurisdiction, basically, as far as that's concerned. So number 4, because they want your business to be registered under the jurisdiction, so that way they can have the right to tax you. You know what I'm saying? But if it's not within their jurisdiction and it's foreign to their jurisdiction, the United States cannot interfere in foreign activities. So therefore, they can't be in your business, basically, and tell you what to do. So this is the trickiness of the forms. But once again, they're going to let you know a real powerful jewel in here, though. So, all right, so number 4 says the Secretary of State is designated as the agent of the foreign limited liability company upon whom process against it may be served. All right, the Secretary. Oh, this. Okay, yeah, right. The Secretary of State, which is like for New York, is the Department of State, Secretary of State, or the New York State Department of State. And also you have the United States Secretary of State. You know what I mean? Which is like the whole thing for the whole United States. You know, so like the official secretary, secretariat. The Secretary of State is designated as an agent of the foreign limited liability company upon whom process against it may be served. So in other words, when you file these documents, you're going to file it with the Secretary of State. You know what I'm saying? You're going to file these documents with the Secretary of State. That's if you choose to register it, you know what I'm saying, in their capacity. You know what I'm saying? If you're just doing it, you know what I mean? If you want to register it, that's cool. I'm just letting y'all know how you can independently contract in your own foreign jurisdiction. Hence the whole point of this document. What is a foreign LLC? You know what I mean? So moving on. The address within or without this state to which the Secretary of State shall mail a copy of the process served against him or her is. So yeah, so where do you want them to mail your documents back to? You know what I'm saying? I'm just making up something, just, you know what I'm saying? P.O. Box 983, imaginary haven. You know what I'm saying? Let's just let me stop fooling around. All right, just a simple state. Let's just say Brooklyn, New York, whatever. No, Queens, New York. I mean Queens, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? So all right, boom. So that's why I say I send it to my P.O. box. You know what I mean? That's not a real P.O. box, but just whatever, just for sake of this document. So P.O. box, boom, boom, boom. That's where the documents will be mailed back to. You know what I'm saying? All right, almost done. Number 5, it says the foreign. It says check and complete the statement that applies. The foreign limited liability company is required to maintain an office in the jurisdiction of its formation. Okay, yes. The address of this office is the same address that I have for like my trust and my whatever is the P.O. box. What I put, I just made up 180 or whatever, Saying the same thing I put up before, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Post office. That'll be the it says the foreign limited liability company is required to maintain an office and that. Oh yeah, part of self. But no, actually Being that I'm doing it foreign, I wouldn't even check that because, like it just stated earlier, the LLC is not required to have an office in the state of New York. So technically, when they say the foreign LLC is required to maintain the jurisdiction of its part self, an office in the jurisdiction of its part of self. Okay, an office of its jurisdiction. So so technically, that would be right because it's under the trust, and the trust mailing address. Not that gives jurisdiction over the trust. It's just simply a mailing address for documents. The trust receives. That's the PO box. Yeah. All right. So I'm just explaining how to fill this out as a foreign national, as a non-citizen foreign national, because in our mentality we always thinking like so-called citizens because they told us we were citizens. All our life we've been checking off these documents. Are you a U.S. citizen? Yes. Are you a citizen of the United States? Yes. Are you a like what I mean? And we're not really citizens, what I'm saying? But we've been checking off these things as alleged citizens for so long. So we thinking in that mentality. And we also think that like, if I don't check that I'm a citizen, I'm not going to get the benefits I'm asking for, whatever the case may be. No, you're still going to get the benefits. You're just going to get them under a different, under a different capacity because you're applying under a different status. That's all. You're just applying for the benefits under a different status. That's all it is. You know what I mean? It's not like, it's not like you're not gonna get what you're gonna ask. So we got to start learning how to be comfortable operating in different jurisdictions or different statuses. You know what I mean? Other than the false status they have us believing that we have. And technically, we're not citizens of the United States. So if we were citizens of the United States, we would be enjoying the rights of the Constitution. The rights of the Constitution would be endowed to us. And we wouldn't have to be fighting for rights. Don't you ever notice how certain so-called foreign people come to this country and they just automatically got rights? They ain't have to march and do all that Martin Luther King Civil Rights March and Malcolm X and all of that, Nation Islam. They ain't have to do none of that. And they just automatically got rights. Why is that? Because they go through a process of what's called naturalization. And after that process, they take like a test, like who are the first 50 presidents? I mean, not 50 first 50. What are the 50 states of America? Who was the first president? What is what's the preamble of the Constitution? They ask you all these questions about American history and all of that, and all that. Then they pass a test, and they pass the process of naturalization. They become citizens, and they get their citizenship. So when did we as so-called Black people ever go through that process? We never did. But we just been here roaming around the land like nomads from place to place in search of something to eat and survive and all of that. But we never technically declared citizenship or had our citizenship declared to us. You know what I mean? So therefore, that's why we talk about, the kids are violating our constitutional rights, and they looking at you like you ain't got no constitutional rights. What you keep talking about this Constitution for? That don't apply to you. Constitution does not apply to us because we're not so-called we the people. And once again, let me break that down. We the people are the members of the Bar Association, also the members of the court, basically those members who took an oath to uphold the Constitution, those who have what you call an oath of office. So if you do not have an oath of office, if you haven't taken an oath to uphold the Constitution, you are not one of the people. You understand that? So like I said, when so-called foreigners go through their process of naturalization and they take that and they pass that test and all of that, then they have them swear in and give an oath to uphold the Constitution. They swear them in just like they do public officials. You understand what I'm saying? Like they don't have the same exact status, but you know what I mean? They kind of go through the same process and they get the benefits, or the Constitution will now apply to them. So now you have certain Moors that go through that process. They do naturalization. As to where some other Moors do nationalization. You nationalize yourself, declare your nationality, and then you can adopt the Constitution or adopt a treaty, which will bring you into, the treaty will bring you into an international form of government, international form of recognition and status and operation. You know what I mean? more so than being in your domestic capacity, within the state. So let's continue. So it says the Foreign Limited Liability Company, the LLC, is not required to maintain an office in the jurisdiction of its formation. Yeah, you know what? All right, damn. See, okay, being that they said that, now I might change that. I might change that because now, okay, maybe this needs to be clicked instead of that because, like I say, even though this PO box does not take like jurisdiction over the trust or over the LLC, is simply a mailing address for the custodian of records or the trustee of the trust. You know what I mean? That's simply what it functions as. And like I said, the Foreign LLC is not required to maintain an office in the jurisdiction of its formation. So in other words, it's not necessarily required to have a office within that jurisdiction. You know what I mean? The address of the principal office of the Foreign Limited Liability Company. See, right. See, like I was just saying, right. The address of the principal office, meaning when they send it to principal, meaning the head person to receive it, the person who's in charge of the functions of the LLC, that person is the principal. You know what I'm saying? They will receive all documentation and so forth, and they will be the one, responding and corresponding in the name of the LLC. So like I said, the PO box will be simply a mailing address, an address to address the principal, which is me, the executor of the trust, in which I assigned myself also because it's a living trust. So I'm the executor, trustee, and beneficiary. I assign myself as the trustee, and then as trustee, I assigned. Or really more so as executor, I assigned the LLC under the schedule of the trust. So now the LLC is under the banner or the umbrella of the trust. So it has the umbrella protection of the trust over the foreign LLC. So now you have a foreign LLC placed into a foreign jurisdiction, which is the trust. And it's governed by, or the jurisdiction that it's governed by is the provisions of the trust. And in those provisions, I am assigned as a trustee to act on behalf of the trust, which means I act on behalf of the LLC. So you see what I'm saying? So that's how that works. All right. See, y'all, I'm showing y'all how to break this down and how to do this. You know what I'm saying? I show you how to do this, son. You know what I mean? Show you how to do this. So this is how you do this. And I'm looking for the most famous statements on this thing here. Okay, they're coming up down there. All right. But yeah. All right, so that's right there. So number 6 now. The Foreign Limited Liability Company is in existence in its jurisdiction of formation at the time of the filing of this application. Yes, right, and exact. So that's letting them know, like the LLC company is in existence of its jurisdiction, which is foreign to the state of in the existence of its jurisdiction of formation at the time of the filing of this application. So you let them know, even though I'm filing this application with you, I'm letting you know that this LLC or this foreign LLC is still operating or in existence within the jurisdiction of its formation, meaning how it was formatted by being placed under schedule of the trust. So therefore, it's under the jurisdiction or the provisions of the trust. So you're letting them know that ahead of time before you hand it over. You know what I mean? It's kind of like putting layers of protection on your stuff. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like saying, like, yo, I'm not registering this with you for you to own it. Actually, it's kind of even deeper than that. It's kind of like you reversing the jurisdiction, and now you're actually licensing your foreign LLC to them as you so-called file it with them. You know what I mean? But you're filing in a whole new capacity where you took control of it, and now you're saying, okay, I'm placing this with you, but it still has its own jurisdiction. So don't assume any jurisdiction over this foreign document because it's foreign. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's deep right there. So number 7, here we go. The articles of organization. The articles of organization of the foreign limited liability company were filed with the following officer in the jurisdiction of its formation. So now you're going to have the officer, which is the Secretary of State, and the address of the officer. So for me, that would be right here, like at the above, right here. You see Department of State, Division of Corporations, State Records, Uniform Codes, 1 Commerce Plaza, 99 Washington Ave. This is where I'm reading this right here. 99 Washington Ave, Albany, New York, 12231-10001. And their website is dos.ny.gov. You know what I mean? So that would be the address of the Secretary of State that you're going to receive correspondence from. So put that in there, Secretary of State, whoever their name is, the address and all of that. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna type that in right now. Now you sign here, more so autograph, you know what I'm saying, and put your thumbprint if you want, you know what I'm saying, if you want. And I'm gonna put, Lord Messiah Law L, comma. Okay, see this part here, you can't do that because you got to sign that live. See, you got to be the living man has to sign this part right here. You can't electronically put that in right there. The living man has to sign that. Now you might be able to type the name down here. Okay, they're letting you type. And let me not type that in all caps and incorporate my name. And see now I put comma. Trustee. See, so I printed my name and the capacity in which I'm operating in. Lord Messiah Law L trustee. So I'm the trustee for this whole operation. That's the capacity that I'm operating in. Because remember, the LLC is under the trust. So originally that holds original jurisdiction. That's the as they say the office of jurisdiction of its formation. Which is the trust, which is headed from my executive office. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's how that goes. Okay, now application for authority for. All right, now it's the same thing here. You'll put that info in. Application for Foreign Llc. Application of authority of. Insert the name of Foreign Llc. Living COVID-free Foreign LLC. Filer's name and address. Lord Messiah Law L, comma trustee. Address P.O. Box. Da 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 da. Mailing address P.O. Box. Da 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 da. State County, Queens, New York. Da 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 da. All right, now this is the fine print I was talking about. These are the notes. See this? These are the small print that you got to read. People don't read these, and this is why you may not understand a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So I take the time to read the stuff and understand it. Then I can break it down to y'all. So listen, y'all.
This form was prepared by the New York State Department of State for filing an application for authority for a foreign limited liability company to conduct business in New York State. It does not contain all optional provisions under the law. You are not required to use this form. You may draft your own form or use forms available at legal supply stores. 2. Attach a certificate of existence, certificate of good standing, or certificate of status from the official who files and maintains limited liability company records in the jurisdiction of the foreign limited liability company's formation. 3. The name of the foreign limited liability company and its date of formation provided on this document must exactly match the name of the foreign limited liability company and, if applicable, the date of formation stated in the certificate, city, state, and zip code. This form was prepared by the New York State Department of State for filing an application for authority for a foreign limited liability company to conduct business in New York State. It does not contain all optional provisions under the law.
Right. See, it said it does. This article was formed by the New York State Department of State for filing applications for the authority for the foreign limited liability company. So this is the form that they made, right? But it says it does not contain all optional provisions under the law. So they gave you the law, which is section what was that? Section 802. See what I'm saying? Section 802 of the limited liability company law. So now if you were to look that up, you know what I'm saying, which maybe on the next session I'll look that up, or y'all can just look that up yourself. Y'all do some research. And say y'all can look that up right there, section 802 of the limited liability company law, and you'll find out everything that you can do and can't do according to that section. So it says, but it lets you know that it's not full disclosure. Like the whole law is not written in this thing here, but they letting you know you can look it up and so forth. You know what I mean? So it says it does not contain all the. All right, you are not required. Right. So therefore, you are not required to use this form. And isn't that so? Right? Because technically, in contract law, all parties are afforded full disclosure, full transparency of everything. You know what I'm saying? Which is written in the contract. That's why sometimes when you give reference to something in your documents, you might have to attach a copy of that document to your original, affidavit or whatever case that you're giving reference to that too, because then they'll say, okay, well, he referenced this, but he didn't put it in his documentation. Like, what am I supposed to now go and research and find this stuff? Like, come on, I don't have time to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you're required to provide all the information needed. Otherwise, they could say, oh, this is lack of full disclosure, lack of transparency, and they could try to get your stuff dismissed based upon that. So if they just told you that it's not containing all the provisions, all the optional provisions under the law, then they also told you that you are not required to use this form. Just like they say, just like when they tell you you're under arrest, you have the right to remain silent. Meaning, I'm putting you under arrest, but you don't have to talk and say anything further that may further incriminate you, because, like they say, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So a lot of times we need to exercise that right of shutting the fuck up and not saying nothing. And that also goes beyond just when you get handcuffed. That goes also to when you get in the precinct and they trying to pressure you. Oh, so what happened and all that shit? No, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? And when you don't say nothing, they have nothing to go off of. In other words, you didn't write a statement, so therefore you didn't tell on yourself. I learned that from this girl Gigi back in Job Corps. You know what I'm saying? She's like, my boyfriend told me you never tell on yourself. You know what I'm saying? She's like, yo, what up? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people be like so quick to like tell what happened there. Man, you never tell on yourself. Like, fuck out of here. Man. I don't give a fuck what you never tell on yourself. You tell on yourself, thinking, hey, that's on you. So anyway, where was I going with that? Yeah. So the fact of the matter is that, you deny everything by not talking, not signing any statements, not saying to them, oh, this happened, that happened. When they say, oh, so so-and-so said that, I have no comment for that. You know what I'm saying? I wish to speak to my lawyer first. I don't want to say anything until I have a lawyer present. Exercise that right as well. I don't want to say anything until I have a lawyer present. So bring me my legal aid or whatever y'all gonna provide me with, right? Because you have the rights when they also tell you, and these are called what's called Miranda laws. And that's another thing too. One time when I got arrested, they never read me my so-called rights. You need to document that shit and put that on the record. They never read me my rights. He never told me I had a right to remain silent. He never told me that I have a right to a legal attorney. He never told me any of these things. He just said, put your hands behind your back, and just got rough with me and jammed me in the car and took me down to the station. The whole time I'm asking him, why am I under arrest? Why am I under arrest? Why are you arresting me? Why are you arresting me? Oh, you'll find out when you get down to the office. That's kidnapping. The fuck you mean? You gonna seize me, put me under detention, and not tell me why you're doing this, and wait until I get to the precinct? That's kidnapping. Motherfuckers kidnapped me before. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever been kidnapped? Yeah, motherfuckers will kidnap you. So anyway, let me not go on my tangent, my rant. Let me get back to this right here. So it says you are not required to use this form. You may draft. Check it out. Here goes the power that you have. You may draft your own form or use forms available at legal supply stores. Like you could go on like legal on like lawdepot.com, which is an ill-ass site. No promotion, I'm just saying. And let me give my disclaimer as well. None of this right here is legal advice. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. If you seek legal advice, and then you can contact a lawyer or a competent lawyer or whatever, and still beware of that. But anyway, that's just my disclaimer out there. It's not legal advice. It's just what I learned and information I'm sharing. I'm sharing information, which is all public knowledge. You understand? And you just see me type this on Google and Google it up. You know what I'm saying? Basic public knowledge. And I'm sharing it for educational entertainment purposes only. So anyway, let's go. So you may draft your own form or use forms available at legal source. So this is the most powerful part. You may draft your own form. So right there, you can draft your own form. And if you do that, okay, now after you draft your own form, is it the same thing as their form? No, it's not the same thing as their form, because now it's not under their jurisdiction. It's not under the rule 802 or 803, whatever that was, of the LLC laws. You know what I mean? It's under, and you state, when you make your own form, when you draft your own form, what you're going to do is you're going to basically put all of this same information that you put up here, that we just went through. You're going to put in all that basic information, but you're also going to put, like a paragraph in there, a couple paragraphs in there stating that the jurisdiction for this LLC is the same that of the juristic capacity of the living trust, so forth, and the provisions of that trust shall govern the provisions of this LLC and that of this foreign LLC, and Right there, just in that little statement right there, you just basically declared your own jurisdiction and how your LLC is your foreign LLC is going to function. You know what I'm saying? And you have the power, the ability to do that. Like, that's why I wanted to show y'all this, man. This is so powerful. This right here, what I just highlighted, you may draft your own form. That right there is the power right there, y'all. You heard? You may draft your own form, which means you have the power to do your own thing. You don't have to. And right before that, they said you are not required to use this form. What? You mean to tell me that I'm not required to use this form? I can draft my own form? What? Wow, that's great. And then it says also, attach a certificate of existence, certificate of good standing, or certificate of status from the official who files and maintains limited liability company records in the jurisdiction of the foreign limited liability company's formation. So in other words, that would be me as the trustee. Acting as trustee for the trust, I also act as what's called the custodian of records, meaning I'm going to keep a track and a filing of all of these records. I'll create filing numbers for them. I'll put my nation's raised seal on the document to certify it and everything, have it attested to, and so forth, and make it official, give it its own jurisdiction, standing, and all that. And then also I'll attach with it what's called the certificate of trust. Certificate of trust, like when they say certificate of good standing, that could, or certificate of status, that certificate of status will be my certificate of trust, which basically lets them know that, okay, this a certificate of trust is like basically a summation of your trust. It lets them know who the executor, the trustee, the beneficiary of the trust is. Some of the, not all, we don't have to have the whole damn list, but some of the general provisions of what you're able to do in the trust, such as operate as trustee for the trust, sign on behalf of the trust, create businesses to build funds for the trust, sign checks on behalf of the trust, you know what I mean? Cash checks, deposit checks on behalf of the trust, all the things that you're able to do. You're going to give a certificate of trust, which is a summation of the trust, basically. And along with your documents, lets them know what the jurisdiction of your foreign LLC is, which is the same of the trust. You understand? So that's how you do that. All right, let's move on next. The name of the foreign limited liability company and its date of formation, and the documents exactly match the name of the foreign limited liability company, and if applicable, the date of formation started in the certificate of existence. Right. So in the certificate of trust, you're going to have the date of that on there. You know what I mean? So the dates of the trust, the date of the certificate of trust, the date of the trust, the date of the LLC. not necessarily the date of the trust, but more so the date of the LLC or the foreign LLC. Basically, you have those dates in there so they know when this came into existence. So from that point on, this jurisdiction is coming into effect, basically. You know what I mean? And it's operating this way. It's like that, and that's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? That's how you got to do it. That's how you hit them. You know what I mean? So anyway, the Department of State recommends the legal documents be prepared under the guidance of an attorney. Right. So, you know, when you have the competence to not represent yourself, but present self. Because when you so-called represent self, you're really representing that all capital letter name that they have you labeled as a so-called straw man, a legal fiction, which they have a birth certificate, Social Security attached to, which makes you, and you went and got a state ID willingly, which now makes you state property or under the jurisdiction of the state. So therefore, they want you to deal with an attorney and have them da-da-da. But once you show competence that you're able to do so, such as developing your own foreign da-da-da and showing them all this express language in there that you know what the fuck you're doing, that shows competence. And that shows the fact that you can operate as what's called an attorney in fact. An attorney in fact means that the judge basically tells you, okay, you're going to operate basically as your own lawyer. I can see that you're competent, you're not stupid, and you're not mentally impaired. So, okay, I see you're smart enough to do it on your own. Yeah, exactly. And due to the fact that I sent you the certificate of trust, you have to let me do it on my own because I'm showing you I'm expressing trust. I'm showing you that I'm operating through trust, which is foreign to your jurisdiction. Therefore, you have no control over that. The United States cannot impair the right to contract, nor can you interfere in foreign operations. So therefore, hands off, buddy. See what I'm saying? So that's the point of all of this. You see all of this, like what do you be talking about with all of this stuff? Like, what is all of this gonna do? This shit ain't gonna give me no check. What is this gonna do for me? Should do a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you being treated the opposite of all of this. But anyway, let's move on. And it says the application for the authority must be submitted with a $250 filing fee made payable to Department of State. So in other words, when you file your paperwork, it costs $250. And I think it's like another $50 for, or another $50 or another $100 or maybe $150. I don't know, I'm not sure. But I think it's another fee for your publishing. So after they file it, see it could be filed with them, meaning once you file it with them, it's like you now making them the trustee or the custodian of records for your documentation. But meanwhile, like we just said before, you can be the custodian of records, create filing numbers for these documents and all of that, and actually place these documents under the schedule of your trust. That's the filing right there, the schedule of the trust. Once you place the LLC under the schedule of the trust, it's now documented in a file, and it's placed as an asset in the schedule of your trust. So that's the filing right there. So you operating as your own custodian of records. You don't need the Department of State to do that for you. If you want to pay them $250 to do it for you, fine, you can do that by all means. But if you're competent enough to do it on your own, then guess what? You can pay yourself that $250 and file it on your own, goddammit, and just schedule it under your trust. How about that? You know what I'm saying? See? So this is why I'm trying to show you you have the ability to do the same thing that the state does by declaring your own foreign jurisdiction and operating in your own state. Like I said, you have to create your state to control your estate. You know what I mean? Your estate is all of your property. This foreign LLC that I just created, and that I'm going to take this basic information from, create a new form and put that basic information, add on my extra legal law stuff, all this stuff I'm breaking down and make it all ill in there. That now is going to take that foreign LLC and put it in its own capacity, executed by the executor himself. I executed the document. So I have ownership, intellectual property. That's my intellectual property. I have ownership of that. And I place that intellectual property under schedule of my trust. You understand? So that's how you do that. So I'm doing the same thing that they would do when you file, you give them $250 to file your document, and they give you a filing number, and they file it in their files. okay, you could just file it, you could schedule it under your trust and keep that 250, or take that same 250 and put it in your trust fund and then file the documents. You know what I'm saying? Record it, make the date, all of that, all that good stuff. And do it on your own, basically. You know what I'm saying? So let me just go back and just kind of review the document. And like I say, I'm just highlighting the two most important things that we just read from here. Was you are not required to use this form, and you can draft your own form. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reality of it right there. All right. And on that note, y'all, I'm gonna say peace. That's been the end of part 2 of what is a foreign LLC and how that applies, and what you can do with it and all that good stuff, y'all. So check out this video, share this video, share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share this video away, man. People need to get this information, need to know this stuff, and start adding on. You know what I mean? Peace.